Well, good morning. First day on the job. I can't imagine what day 2 is going to be like. So Benton PD is one of 135 preference customers of the Bonneville Power Administration with priority access to electricity produced by federal dams on the Columbia and Snake Rivers. Baseload power produced by the Columbia Generating Station nuclear plant is also a critical component of the BPA generation resources, providing around-the-clock electricity that undergirds the flexibility of the hydropower. In addition to public utility districts, BPA's preference customers include cooperatives, municipalities, and tribes. Low-cost, clean, and reliable electricity from BPA resources is a major economic engine of the Northwest and has been the foundation for not-for-profit public power in our region for decades. Our region's clean hydroelectric generation resources are unmatched anywhere in the United States and are the reason Washington State contributes less than 0.5% to the nation's total greenhouse gas emissions from electricity production. In the last few years, I've become increasingly concerned that public support for hydro and nuclear energy in the Northwest is beginning to wane. I'm worried that citizens of the Northwest may be taking our low-cost and clean electricity for granted. With regard to the direction of the federal agencies, the direction they're heading with draft EIS recommendations, of course I'm pleased that dam breaching is not their preferred alternative. However, I am concerned about the erosion of hydropower production that will come with requirements to spill more water over the dams. More spill means less energy for BPA's preference customers like Benton PUD. It was not long ago that biologists expressed deep concerns over raising the level of dissolved gases in the water to 115%. Now with increased spill requirements, the gas levels are allowed to elevate to 125%. If I knew increased spill was a guaranteed solution to increasing fish survival in a meaningful way, it would be easier to accept less power production. But the jury is still out, and only time will tell whether increased spill can be shown to help fish or not. It could even turn out to hurt them. It is encouraging to see the federal agencies in their draft EIS recommendations have recognized the critical importance of hydro generation to meeting clean electricity objectives while keeping costs low and keeping lights on. However, I don't think this is the last we're going to hear from dam breaching advocates who continue to insist we can meet clean energy objectives by replacing Snake River dams with wind and solar power. Utilities strongly disagree with this assertion based on how BPA power is actually contracted and how the power grid actually operates. With regard to clean energy goals, it's important to know Benton PD's power supply portfolio is already more than 95% clean, thanks primarily to BPA hydro and nuclear energy. As for how the power grid operates, let me take you back to just about 1 year ago today in the Tri-Cities when we were socked in by deep snow and extreme cold. Do you remember it? After a multi-day cold snap, power supply was tight in the Pacific Northwest and wholesale electricity prices spiked in 1 day from $50 a megawatt hour to $1,000 a megawatt hour. This price spike signaled that all generating resources with sufficient fuel needed to be online and that the Pacific Northwest should import as much power as possible from neighboring regions. Between midnight and 8 a.m. on March 4th, electricity demand increased by 4,000 megawatts, nearly 3.5 times the capacity of the Columbia Generating Station, to put it in perspective. 27% of this extraordinary increase in demand was met by the lower Snake River dams. And because Mother Nature does not respond to signals from the power grid that we need more electricity, wind power production was very low at an average of 11% of the installed capacity. These are the kind of days that do not happen often, but these are days that utilities must plan for years in advance. These are the kind of days when utilities need insurance against blackouts, which is exactly what the Snake River dams provide. While wind and solar power are currently popular choices for meeting 100% clean electricity objectives, these power sources are intermittent and variable. This makes them unsuitable for maintaining the precise moment-to-moment balance that must occur between electricity production and consumption across all possible weather conditions and for every second of every day. Unlike wind and solar power lobbyists and well-intentioned politicians, electric utilities must balance environmental objectives with costs while also maintaining an always-on power grid. Utilities cannot be put in a position of rolling the dice when it comes to the health, safety, and well-being of our customers, which is what reliable electricity is all about. We need hydropower more now than ever as we begin the rapid retirement and shutdown of the region's coal-fired power plants. Without utility actions to build new plants with dependable capacity attributes, one study quantifies the risk of blackouts to be as high as 26% by 2026. In closing, I want to encourage everyone to get engaged in the Columbia River System Operations EIS process and to stay tuned into what utilities are saying about the risk of blackouts. We cannot take our hydro power resources or the reliability of our power grid for granted. Thank you.